They reached number 2 on Billboard with just their voices. No instruments, no huge production. Let's talk about it. Hi guys, welcome to the channel. If you like hearing stories from the 90s, subscribe. Let's get into it. Shai were a 90s R&B quartet whose hit single blew up the charts after it hit the airwaves. If I Ever Fall in Love was their debut single, and what a debut it was. A simple acapella with beautiful harmonies that could be heard in their full glory with no instruments, very simple, very straight to the point.
We'll be sure that the lady is afraid.
They sang in perfect harmony, but the group didn't stay in harmony forever. With only 2 of the 4 original members left, where is Shai today in 2023? The original members of Shai didn't know each other growing up. They're from all over the country. They actually met at Howard University, a historically black research college. Founded in 1867, 3 of the 4 members belonged to the same fraternity. There was Mark Gay from Miami, Florida, Carl Martin from Louisiana, and Darnell Van Rensselaer from New Jersey. And the 4th member was their friend, Garfield A. Bright from Boston. Now these guys were academics. Singing was just a hobby for them at first. They loved practicing their harmonies and they were influenced by Motown. But they did begin to take the music more seriously and they realised that they had a big opportunity. Too good of an opportunity to miss out on. And they wanted to pursue it while they were still young and basically had the world at their feet. They could always go back and finish their degrees later. They decided to take a trip to New York City to seek a deal, but they were turned down by multiple labels. They managed to scrape together $100 and they used that to record a demo tape. They recorded the song If I Ever Fall in Love that was written by Carl, and they recorded it a cappella. They weren't having much luck with the labels, so they decided to take a new approach and they sent their demo tape to WPGC, which was the hottest radio station in Washington, DC at the time. The radio station held a regular demo contest, but when they received Shai's demo tape, they loved the song so much that they added it to their playlist. After being on the air for a couple of weeks, it became WPGC's most requested song, and it was also played on sister radio stations, so it ended up being played all over the country. The labels soon took notice, and the group ended up getting a deal with MCA Records, and they revealed that Shai is an Egyptian word for destiny. So what about school? At the time of getting the record deal, they were between the ages of 22 to 23, and 2 of them had not yet graduated. In an interview with Hype magazine, Garfield A. Bright said, "People didn't know I was going back and forth to school. We got our record deal right when I had like 3 credits left to finish at Howard. We got a record deal, so it was between taking this deal and going to chase superstardom with a major label, or do you hold off? So I went for mine." So Garfield didn't initially finish his degree. Neither did Carl Martin. Carl actually played baseball for the college team, but he became disillusioned with the game. "I was having knee problems. The program wasn't well supported financially, and it made me lose interest. It made me hate the game I really loved. So I started doing my other love, which was music." And Carl became a songwriter. He even changed his major to English. He said studying Shakespeare and love stories gave him inspiration for writing his songs. He had every intention of going back to school and finishing his degree. Their song debuted at number 54. After 2 weeks, it reached 35. Then it climbed the charts all the way up to number 2. And it reached number 1 in the R&B charts. The video debuted on MTV with 2 versions, an a cappella and a remix version, which aired on BET and Video Jukebox.
We'll be sure that the lady is afraid.
In 1992, Carl said that all of them got along very well and worked together as a team. "We have an idea of what we are trying to communicate to people. Sure, we want to make a lot of money and become famous, but it's all about trying to communicate. That's the purpose of becoming a recording artist, not just a singer. We're trying to communicate life, how things happen when you believe in things, how people try to influence you, We want people to appreciate what we do lyrically, which is what made the song, If I Ever, cross over the way it has. There have been no R&B groups since the Commodores. They could fill up a huge arena. We're going to do everything in our power to give that a shot. Their debut album of the same name went double platinum. Comforter and Baby I'm Yours were the next two singles released. Both of those singles reached number 10 on Billboard, so they were off to a good start. 3 top 10 hits and a double platinum selling album. They released a remix album the following year, Right Back At Ya, it was called. In 1994, The Place Where You Belong was released as part of the Beverly Hills Cop 3 soundtrack. It reached number 32. It would be their last top 40 single.
Here in my arms, without you something is wrong.
They failed to match the success of their debut single and album. They released their follow-up album, Blackface, in 1995. It reached 42 on Billboard and 15 in the R&B charts. Come With Me was the most successful single from the album. It reached 20 in the R&B charts and 43 on Billboard. And Shai collaborated with artists such as Jay-Z and jazz musician Rick Braun. And Garfield said when their success began to decline, that's when he went back to school. First, he finished his degree at California State University, Northridge. I went back to school. I got my undergrad, which was political science history. At Cal State, he became a part of something called the Hip Hop Think Team. While he was still a student, a professor asked him for his industry expertise to help develop a political science class called The Politics of Hip Hop. Garfield said, they became interested in the issues within the landscape of hip hop, like misogyny, different amendment rights, freedom of speech type stuff. A lot of different things on landscapes that they started writing papers about. Then he got into the master's program at Georgia State University for African American Studies. And today, Garfield A. Bright is Dr. Garfield Bright. He has a PhD in educational policies and now teaches on a PhD program himself. Before getting his PhD and master's, he worked as a high school teacher, teaching history and geography. He also headed a program at GSU called I Create My Experience that helped Black and Latino men aged 16 to 24 understand cultural awareness, digital media literacy, and how to counter negative images of men of colour in the media. And he continues to teach at GSU. There are only 2 original members still in Shai today, Garfield A. Bright and Darnell Van Rensselaer. They added 2 new members, Dwayne Jones and George Spencer. The other 2 original members left in 1996 after the completion of their 3rd album. Darnell didn't mention any names, but he said something about the industry getting to their head and them having to go their separate ways. One dude thought he would be the man. He allowed the industry to come between us. Those people don't really have the talent. That's why they do that. It's almost like a manual. It's the same story. Every group has one guy who's that.
Yeah, these aren't the original. Me and Garfield are originals, but this is George and Dwayne, formerly the group Riff and Metavision.
Oh, okay, I remember.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. And we've been friends since the Sandbox, me and this one.
Okay.
Yeah, so, it just all came back together like full circle. Ultimately, over time, sustaining, if you look longitudinally, you start to see where the essence always lied, and no disrespect or discredit to any of those 2 brothers. I love them dearly. Mark just had a baby, shout out. But they were integral parts to my growth. We grew up together, basically. Mm-hmm. We were 17 at Howard.
Yeah.
But we just out-sustained it. Me and Darnell's chemistry ultimately, like if in a harmony, you might have 2 notes that stand out strong in that harmony, even though it's 4 notes to that harmony. But 2 of those notes are the pretty parts of that thing that hit you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you can take them other 2 notes out. You have a different chord, but the 2 notes suggest those other 2 notes because they were the stronger ones. And you can still rock with that if you needed to. And that's me and D. Okay. And we literally did rock with that. Like, we did a lot of 2-man shows for a long time before we put these 2 guys in our mix.
So Shai is still active today. They have various shows booked for this year, 2023. They typically perform with other acts from the 90s at various arenas across the country. Were you familiar with all of their songs or just If I Ever Fall in Love? Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts below, I read the comments. Like and subscribe for weekly videos. And don't forget to click the bell for more.